Hi guys, welcome back on this part 2 on the CV carburetor. I'm putting this bike together that was completely submerged in salt water down in Keys in Hurricane Irma. So it was really a long shot to see if this carburetor was going to be salvageable. If you see in the part 1, when I was taking it out of the bike was nasty. This carburetor is garbage. I'm just going to salvage some parts out of it that are okay, and it's rest of it is trash. So I got another carburetor here, got it online. So this one is really nice shape. So I'm gonna show you how to take it apart, go through it, inspect it. If your bike's been sitting and it's all gummed up, I'll show you what I use to clean all that up. It's like with any other carburetor. First we're gonna break it down. So I'm gonna take off the 4 bolts here to take the float ball out, and 4 bolts here to take the top off. When you're gonna start sliding this float ball out, notice this pin over here, or push rod, or whatever you want to call it. It goes through this little grommet. Inspect your grommet. You want the grommet to be nice and soft. A lot of times they get hard or they get ripped. You have to replace it if it's bad. Ideally, every time you're gonna go into your carburetor to rebuild it or fix it or clean it, you want to get yourself a rebuild kit. That would include get the rebuild kit that includes the acceleration pump winches underneath this cover. There will be a new diaphragm, spring, this boot, obviously the new gasket in the kit, jets and whatnot. So really recommend doing that before you even start. So now we're gonna move to the other side. Actually, I'm gonna pull my pin so you don't freak out when it falls out, just like it happened now. The pin goes right here. It just fits loosely in there. So when you take the ball out, pull the pin out. There is only one hole in here. It goes right in this hole, but from the back. On this carburetor that I purchased online, the bracket for the throttle cables is missing. It's okay with me because I got my beautiful rusty seawater bracket that I'm going to use from the original carburetor. So that one actually you got to remove when you're taking this cover off. I'm just going to place it here so you kind of know where it goes, what it looks like. So there'll be a screw up here and the screw over here. So you take those 2 screws out, take the bracket, put it out of the way, and move this top off. Now we got a spring and the piston or slider, whatever you want to call it. Inside the slider we have this plastic piece that holds our needle in. So we can remove all that. This way this is free and we're not going to lose anything. Put that out of the way, and let's look further. So this is open, there is nothing more here. On this side we still got to take our float out, your idle jet, which is inside this hole. You can see it peeking out over there. Then the main jet with the emulsion tube, and the float needle that is down there. Okay, so first I'm going to take out my main jet with the emulsion tube. Underneath the main jet, it's a little guide over here for the needle. Be very careful. You want to. It normally just comes right off like this. See, I just noticed that some genius put this one in backwards. Let me show you where it's which way it's supposed to go. One side it's rounded. Let me focus here a little bit. One side is rounded like this, and one side it's got kind of like a sharp edge, and it's longer. That one's gotta go first. So when you look at the bottom of this emulsion tube, it sits on it like this very nicely. This was in backwards, so it would affect the way it runs. Plus it messed it up. I'm pretty sure when they tighten it up, it kind of open this thing up. So let me try if I can put this back or not. Normally this thing just falls right into the place, and of course I can get it in. So I'm gonna have to look in my parts pile and replace this piece, because this piece got messed up. It's got kind of opened up over here on this side. But see, this is why I want to go into this carburetor anyway, because I got it online and I don't know who was in it, what they did. So, but for your purpose, when you're taking this main jet setup out, make sure you take this out, because it's really good chance that you're gonna lose it if you don't take it out. You don't realize that it's there. You move the carburetor around, now it's gone. You put this thing back without it, this needle that we took off over here will be flopping loose in here, and it's gonna run like crap. And you'll be like, what the hell is going on? So anyway, yeah, make sure you take that out. Next thing we're gonna do is our idle jet. It's down here. Get yourself a nice screwdriver. I got this beloved screwdriver that I use for that. You don't want to strip the head. It would become very difficult to extract it from there. It's deep inside. Next thing, I got my little tool that I made, just modified a regular punch that you can buy in Harbor Freight. Just kind of grind it, got the pointy tip out so it's flat, and I like to use it instead trying to get a little pin and beat on it with the screwdriver. I like to use it for these pins. It works pretty cool. See, I just kind of got it out like that, and then you pull this thing out, including the needle on it. The needle is pretty dirty, it's a little yellow, so it's good that we're doing all this. Take that off, and I think this is it for the body. I don't have a choke cable in. I got another one here. Your bike's gonna have a choke cable in right here, just like that. So you're gonna unscrew this part and get it off. Just put it aside, so you have a just clean carburetor body in your hands. Now what I do is I inspect it. Like you can see, this one looks very good. You know, the seat looks great. It's not really dirty. There's really no need to do much with it. There's a little residue up here, but nothing major. Nothing I can just wipe off with the carburetor cleaner. Kind of blow everything with the compressed air. Also, what is very good idea is to take your carburetor cleaner. It doesn't really matter what brand you use, as long as it's a carburetor cleaner. Get your pointed spray right in there, and you want to see it coming out of this hole over here. So when I spray in there, it was coming out right there. So I know this passage that goes from here, turns 90 degrees here, and go out over here, it's clean. There is another opening right here. Used compressed air, make sure everything is nice and clean. So anyway, I'm gonna put this body aside. I still gotta clean it up a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you the solution that I like to use on cleaning all the small parts. What I use is this, it's called Chem Dip Carburetor Parts Cleaner. They sell it in Walmart. They have it in auto parts stores. It costs less than 20 bucks, and it's really great. You open it up, it comes with a little tray. So if your bike's been sitting and you open it up and it's really nasty inside, it's all gummed up, this is a great stuff to buy for it. It comes with a little tray like this. You put whatever parts you want to clean in there. I'm not going to use it because my parts, as you can tell, are pretty damn clean. So but if I was in that situation, I would put my flow needle in there. I would put the jets, the idle jet, this thing. I would put the whole float bowl, except I would take it apart first. So I would take this off. There is a little diaphragm which I'm going to show you in a minute, but you can dump the float bowl in there. You can even leave the rubber on it. It won't do nothing to the rubber. It won't hurt it. So great stuff. You leave it there for half an hour. If it's new, you might even leave it a little less time. This stuff gets kind of used up as you using it. It gets less potent, I guess. So anyway, recommend this. Put all your little parts in there, and half hour later get them out, wash them with water, and blow them with air, compressed air, and you're good to go. Start putting it back together, which we're gonna do now. First though, I'm gonna organize this mess a little bit. I kind of got carried away here, so it's always good to have your stuff organized and keep it organized so you know where everything goes. You know, when you've been doing it for a long time, you kind of start being messy because you remember where it goes. So anyway, this is my top pieces. You know, I'm not going to use this now because I gotta sandblast it and clean it up, but this will go there. Then my internal parts are here, so there'll be my float with the needle, with my pin, and the main jet and the idle jet. These 4 screws will be obviously for the float bottom. This is the piece that I gotta replace because it got screwed up, and this is related to my float bowl, so just so I keep it a little more organized. Now let me show you what it looks like underneath this cover. I hold my thumb on it because it's spring loaded, as you can see right now. There's a little O-ring over here, make sure you don't lose it. Spring and the diaphragm. Inspect this diaphragm really well. This one, it's in great condition, no reason changing it. And if you're using your solution, you can dump this thing in. We're gonna also in a minute inspect the acceleration pump. After we put this back together, I show you how to test it before you even put it together. But I have a new gasket, so I'm gonna replace this. I'm gonna replace this gasket because this one looks pretty old. So like I said, buy yourself it's always better to buy yourself a rebuild kit before you get it into it, because there's a very good chance that you're gonna need to replace the needle, the gasket. Very good chance these could go bad when the bike's been sitting, the rubber gets ate up. So anyway, let's move on. Okay guys, so I clean everything up with the carburetor cleaner. I'm gonna start putting it back together. So first you take your acceleration pump. This diaphragm goes on one way. See, on this side it's flat, on this side it's got the groove, or it's got the piece that it's got the shape that fits into this groove. So you put that in there, then you got your spring. Make sure this O-ring is in good shape and it's in right place. You also need to make sure that these holes are not clogged up. So I'm gonna spray oh, you can see it going through there, so we are good. Make sure everything is in place. Again, it only goes on one way. Hold it down with the thumb. Got 3 screws. Next, you can put your grommet or boot or whatever you want to call it over here. I want to show you now how you test this acceleration pump. You want to fill this up with fuel, and you're gonna, the piece that we took off earlier, you're gonna insert here, and we're gonna be pumping like so, and the fuel's gotta start spraying from there. If it doesn't, then something is gummed up here, and we're gonna have to open it up and spray carburetor cleaner, air, and whatever we gotta do to get this thing working right. Okay, so I went and got my gas, put it in. This hole that you see right there, it's where the gas comes in, and it's gonna want to spray up from there. So I like to put a finger over, and then I start pressing down here, and you see the stream coming out of the acceleration pump. It's working very nice. So that's what you want to test before you put it back in. If it's not spraying out of here, you could have it gummed up right there. There's a little check valve underneath. If you're having a trouble, let me dump this thing here. If you're having a trouble, you can actually take a vice grip, so pliers. See, there's a flat side on it here, and you can pull this off if it's really bad. I mean, I'm talking about something that's been sitting for 3 years with the gas in it, but it could be clogged up right in there. But whatever you do, test it out first before you put it on the bike, so you don't have to take it back off when you find out your acceleration pump it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, your bike's not going to run good. It's going to have a big flat spot when you're trying to take off. Alright, so I'm going to put my new gasket on and move on to the body of the carburetor where we can start putting the jets in. Okay, I dug up out of my box of parts another one of these pieces. So like I showed you earlier, this side goes in first. Let me focus here. This side goes in first. On the other side. Now we're gonna see, this is what it's supposed to look like when it's in. When it's backwards, it would be barely sticking out. So I can tighten this up. Next is our idle jet. Next we're gonna take the float needle, and I like to, even though it's been in the solution supposedly in your bike since it's been sitting and you're fixing it up, I still like to put a little carburetor cleaner and clean the tip. If you're doing it the right way, you got yourself a rebuild kit and you got a brand new needle in the rebuild kit, so you're not even worrying about this. But if you're reusing your old needle like me here, which is not recommended, clean it up, make sure the tip is doesn't have any residue, and also make sure that this little pin, it's spring loaded and it's not stuck. So now I'm gonna put it on my float, hang it down like this, so I can actually take it and suspend it down into place like so, and take my pin. It usually goes easy from one side. If you're trying to put it in there from the wrong side and you can't get it in, just go from the other side. And take the back side of my punch, make sure it's even, and that's it. Next I'm going to put this pin that I was showing you when we were taking it apart. I'm going to hold it with my finger like so. You put it through the boot first, and then your acceleration pump here goes into the hole through the carburetor body, and then everything lines up after that very easily. So now we got to put these 4 screws back in. Okay, now we can flip this carburetor right side up. I'll throw this old gasket away, and we're gonna put this slider together. Since this is an aftermarket needle that comes with the jet kit, it's adjustable. If you got a stock needle, it looks different. There's no adjustments on it. This one's gotta have a little washers on top. What I like to do, especially since the washer's gotta be on top, I like to kind of hold the needle with my finger, and I set this keeper or whatever it's called, and I kind of ease it down together as a unit. And sometimes you gotta turn it a little bit. What do you basically want to make sure of, that this needle doesn't have a play. So if you don't have this together right, and this needle is have a play up and down, it's gonna be loose while you're riding the bike, and you're gonna have issues. So this is all good now. I just put the spring in there, kind of make sure that it's still good. This only goes in one way, so I got it backwards at the moment. Put it in right, falls right down. I just kept the tension with the spring on it, this way my washers won't fall out of place. Make sure this diaphragm, it's not broken. Inspect it real good, and then set it in the groove. Then you can put your spring on it, and when you're putting this cover down, just don't pinch the move it up and down. You can kind of hear the air being forced through the little hole over here, so that means it's most likely in the right spot. And this hole is going to stay open right here because that's where the bracket is going to go. So I'm going to just put these 3 in for now. So if you want to make sure your slider works properly, you can blow air right here and see it come up like that. And that's it. The carburetor only missing this bracket that I'm not going to put on right now because it's disgusting and I have to clean it up and do something with it, paint it or whatever. But the carburetor is back together. I really appreciate you watching. I hope this helps you if you want to clean your carburetor, inspect it, or if you're doing a jet kit. And subscribe if you like it, and I hope I'll see you in my next video. Thank you very much.